Femi Olajiga on Agile Marketing. As audience expectations rise, marketing technology gets more sophisticated and the number of channels we need to reach keeps growing. Marketers are discovering that they tried and true ways of working just don't cut it anymore. Fortunately, agile marketing holds the key to making marketing work in this volatile climate. But what is agile marketing really is? To answer this question, agile marketing, we have Femi, Mr. Femi, the agile marketing coach, trainer, facilitator with us. And Femi is here. He is a certified leadership and systematic team coach. He is also the author of the book Lean Agile Marketing. He works with leaders and teams to achieve marketing agility, growth, and transformations that result in high performance across the marketing team. All right, Femi, so the stage is all yours.
So thank you very much, Raj, for your introduction. I'm not going to talk too much about myself. I'll just go straight to the point. My name is Femi Olajiga. I'm a certified Agile coach. I have a background in IT before I came into marketing. I have a master's in marketing. I'm also an ICF certified coach, like I have practical coaching experience and qualification. So today I'm going to be talking to you about Agile marketing model. And the agenda for today is not around me talking about how great or smart I am. It's going to be about what you can take to implement Agile marketing if you're not doing it already, and what you can think about when you're already doing Agile marketing. How do you take your Agile marketing to the next level? But first, I'm going to start with what is Agile marketing, and then I'm going to talk about the benefits of Agile marketing. And then I'm going to talk about the Agile marketing model. This will kind of help you understand more about Agile marketing. Even the people that are already doing Agile marketing, I'm also going to provide valuable insight for that. And then I'm going to go ahead with recommendations. And my recommendations is not going to be best practices. It's not going to be something that is specific to one industry. I've kind of formatted the recommendations in a coaching way. So if anybody on the audience have ever been coached by a professional coach, you would understand that coaches ask questions to trigger your thinking. So at the end of the day, you're the one that comes up with the answers. So my recommendations would be phrased in form of questions. So you can take it and it's applicable to any sector, B2B, B2C, small teams, multiple teams. And then I'm going to open the floor to questions. So some questions I'll be able to answer here. And if I'm not able to touch on your questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter or send me a direct email. I'll do my best to answer. So what is Agile marketing? The funny thing about Agile marketing is Google is very, very good. You can get anything on Google. But if you search for the term Agile marketing, what you find on Google is a lot confusing. So it's hard to understand Agile marketing. Everybody has an opinion, and that's where the problem starts. First, let's talk about what Agile marketing is not. I'm not sure about the understanding of the audience. Some people might know about Scrum, Kanban, and other Agile methodologies. Agile marketing, it's not about frameworks. So if you're doing Agile marketing, your focus should not be frameworks. So Agile marketing is not about frameworks. It's not about tools as well. It's easy to start using tools like Slack and Trello, and you say, oh, we're doing Agile. The fact that you're using tools doesn't define Agile marketing. Agile marketing is about a mindset shift. It's about changing your mindset. Traditional marketing strategies, models have all existed before the internet. The internet came, technologies came, and marketing changed. But marketing strategies did not change. New tactics were introduced. You have social media marketing, you have search engine optimization. All those have come into play. But our mindset has been the same. It's been the same old model planning where you plan for 12 months and then you roll out the plan. If Google changes, anything changes, the budget that you have allocated already, you stay rigid to it. Agile marketing is about changing that mindset. So your focus is on your customer experience. I know a lot of people talk about customer experience. Again, this is a very popular buzzword, but what is customer experience? Customer experience is the pain points of your customers. Customer experience is something that you cannot find on Google Analytics. Customer experience is your customers' emotions. So in my experience and my definition of agile marketing is understanding your customer experience and then iterating your strategies to make sure that you're always giving your customers the best experience. This all sounds theoretical, but as we go along, I'm going to explain more about it and you get more understanding. So let's go to the benefits. The benefits of agile marketing. I mentioned about strategy earlier on. Strategy is something that is confused with tactics. If you ask people, what is your marketing strategy? What is your digital marketing strategy? You're most likely to hear, oh, this is our SEO strategy. This is our PP strategy. This is our social media strategy. This is our email marketing strategy. This is our brand strategy. And all these things work in silo. What agile marketing does is help you have this holistic view of your strategy and helps you with the implementation. I'm not going to be able to cover too much about how this would be done, but it's good for you to understand that one of the benefits you're going to get from agile marketing is it will help you implement your strategy across board, across all your multiple internal and external stakeholders. And I mentioned about silos as well. You have SEO, PPC, social media, all these marketing channels, they all work as specialist group. And most cases, we rely heavily on attribution modeling, which is either first touch or last touch. I'm not going to bore you with analytics, but what agile marketing will do for you is your individual teams, siloed teams. Agile marketing will not eliminate silos. You need silos within marketing because each unit is a specialist unit. You have people on your team that are specialists, web analytics professional. You have people on your team that are specialists, conversion optimization professional. All these people are professional and they're siloed in the way they work. Agile marketing will help you ensure that all those silos are collaborating towards the implementation of your marketing strategy. And then there's the focus on value. We all do tasks that we don't know how it contributes to the overall strategy. We all do things at work within marketing. We're doing a campaign. We don't know how that impacts on the big picture. What agile marketing does is help you as organizations and as marketing teams to focus on value. When you start doing something, you know that, okay, this is the value that I'm going to generate at the end of what I'm doing. This is the person that needs this. So the cross collaboration makes sure that every unit, every person within broader marketing team is focusing on value. Employee engagement. This is another buzzword. You ask a lot of people, what is employee engagement? You get different definition. Employee engagement is something that Google calls psychological safety. It's when people on your team feel secure, when they feel the fear level within marketing is low, when people are able to express themselves. The reason why this is important and the reason why this is a benefit is we spend most of our time at work, and a lot of marketers, a lot of people in general work in an environment where they're scared of their boss or scared of one politics or the other. And this is one topic that nobody talks about, office politics. It stresses people a lot. But the only way teams that I've worked with, teams that I've worked on, and teams that I interviewed, when I was writing my book back in 2016 towards 2017, I interviewed more than 40 marketers from CMO, directors, team leaders, executives about agile marketing. One thing that is consistent about teams that have implemented agile is they have a lot of collaboration and the engagement within the team is quite high. So these are the benefits of agile marketing. Next, I'm going to talk about the agile marketing model. So when you're talking about agile marketing, there are three things you need to focus on. I'm going to talk about individual elements in more details, but the primary focus that is all over the internet when you're reading about agile marketing is just processes. There's a lot not said about strategy. there's a lot not said about people. So let's look at each element in more detail. Strategy. Earlier, I mentioned about customer experience, and the question is, okay, so how do you get customer experience? How do you integrate customer experience into your strategy? I'll start by saying marketing has turned customers into numbers. The speaker earlier on was talking about the getting out of the building. What I kind of liked about what he said and what aligns with what I'm trying to say here is a lot of marketers, if I ask everybody listening to me this evening, how many of you has ever spoken to a customer? I'm not talking about looking at customers on social media platform or web analytics, talking to a customer. You see people, I'm as guilty as everyone on the team, everyone listening. But what I've learned over the years is if you really want to understand your customers, you need to talk to them. Google Analytics, Google keyword research, and all that will tell you things, but it doesn't tell you about the customer's emotions. So the strategy part of agile marketing is making sure that the qualitative insights is merged with quantitative insights. Quantitative is the numbers, the analytics that I was talking about, while qualitative is customer interviews. And this goes into the field of customer experience. That's you talking to customers, you getting data from customers through their response from email marketing, their response from customer facing employees, customer service, and then looking at that data and then merging that data with analytics. A lot of companies don't do that because there's always the idea that you can't get good data from qualitative insight. It's not as huge and uh, fanciful as quantitative analytics. The reason why this is important is I'll talk to you about companies like Blockbusters that went bust, that Netflix ran them out of town. Blockbusters and a company in the UK called Maplin as well. The analytics and whatever they have that they were using to make decisions could not tell them about customer emotions and customer behaviors because these are things that you learn talking to customers. So for your agile marketing strategy, a combination of the qualitative and the quantitative will make sure that your strategy is really listening to the customer experience. And then I mentioned earlier on that most marketing teams have a 12-month plan. You even see some companies that have a 5 years plan. But we all know that whatever tactic or whatever thing you're doing in marketing changes so rapidly that you just have to keep iterating on your tactic. The iteration does not just stop at the tactics change. The iteration also goes with the budget. You make sure that, okay, we have, say, for example, $100,000 budget for social media for this year. If you find out that social media is not working the way you expect, would you move the money from social media to another channel? How do you navigate that? Being able to sit as a team, as a unit, and understand and talk amongst yourself and make the budget very fluid. It's a senior level decision. It's not something at a junior level, but the senior stakeholders, the CMO, the marketing director, this is where agile marketing needs to be a mindset change. The people on your team, the collaboration on your team will encourage people to say, okay, my tactic is not working because it's seasonal or for one reason or the other. We need to move money from my campaign to another campaign. That is a difficult thing to do, but for you to be really agile, your tactics need to be dynamic. And also it needs to focus on continuous improvement. Learning and iterating and learning and looking at okay, what can we do to improve? Not just having a plan at the beginning of the year and then just waiting until the end of the 12 months before you review that. You review your plans at the end of every quarter. You have like monthly meetings. You evaluate based on qualitative and quantitative analytics and you improve. You look at where you can move money around. You look at, as a team, what have we learned? What did we learn from our A/B split testing that we can then introduce to the offline marketing teams. What call to action worked very, very well on a test page that we can then spread across the team so they know that, okay, this is a phrase that speaks to our customers' value proposition. So agile marketing is about continuous improvement. Then we talk about the process. This is the core of agile marketing at the moment because everybody, when they talk about agile marketing, the only thing everybody focuses on is not strategy, it's process. And this is how most content online, this is the only thing they focus on. So, but if you want to really become agile in marketing, you need to look at all processes, not restrict yourself to just one process. Let me just give a brief explanation about all these processes. If you want to learn more, you can search for me on LinkedIn. I've written quite a few articles, and on my website as well, you can get more detailed information about the meaning of Scrum, Kanban, Scrumban, and sequential sequential waterfall model. So what is Scrum? Scrum is a methodology that started when two professors wrote an article in 1986. It's called the new product game. And when they published this article, then two other individuals from the IT industry saw that article, Jeff Sutherland and Ken Schreiber, and then they created Scrum for IT. So in my experience, what I notice, teams that do Scrum by the book in marketing run into problems. So as marketers, when you're looking at the Scrum framework, you need to look at it in the context of your team. You don't have to just follow it the way the IT teams adopted it, because what works for IT does not always and does not necessarily work for non-IT teams. The next process, very popular process, is Kanban. This started in Microsoft by a guy called Anderson. His name is Anderson. He wrote a book on Kanban. So he started this and introduced it to software teams. Most teams that I've worked on, we work with Kanban because Kanban doesn't, unlike Scrum, Kanban helps you implement Agile as a process without really changing anything. Whereas in the case of Scrum, Scrum would tell you to introduce new roles. Kanban would just tell you to start with what you're doing and continue with what you're doing. You can learn more about this, but what I'm trying to say here is for Agile marketing, process is just one element. And my recommendation is to just make sure that you look at all the processes and you don't restrict yourself to one process. You look at your team, you look at what problems your team is having, and then you look at all the processes available for you, and then you choose elements. It's just like going to a buffet. You pick and choose, and your plate is full, and then you eat. The same way and the same approach you should approach Agile marketing. And then the next one is people. So in this part, I'm going to talk about four things. A lot of people will say, oh, this is the touchy-feely subject. True. Touchy-feely is not even part of marketing strategy. Touchy-feely is not part of what we do when we're creating strategies and when we're creating tactics. But we all know that the leadership, the communication, the diversity, and the reward systems impact our performances as marketers. So if you have a team that has a leader, that the leadership style is command and control, the stress that that leader will cause for the team will automatically reduce the team's productivity. So you go into an office, you're going to work, you're scared to even get to the office. Every move you make, you're just scared of your boss. And this is something that everybody talks about. People leave companies not because of the companies, they leave the company because of the managers. So if you really want to be agile as a team, you cannot afford to have a huge churn where people just leave your team and your team is just like a revolving door. The disadvantage of that is because you're losing talent and you're losing insights, because people work on your team, they understand your customers, they know how to make your strategy work better, but because of bad leadership, they leave. Then you lose a lot of insights that person has gained from working in your organization, and then the new person comes in and that new person has to go through the same process and it's all over again. So that's like a huge waste. And then communication as well. For you to become agile, I talked about mindset earlier on. You have organizations where if you walk in on the ground level, you don't even understand what the strategy is because it's not communicated. Strategies and tactical information or important information that can help that can help people with their work to implement marketing strategies is kept as a need to know basis based on your pay grade. So the people element, for you to be really agile, you have to look at how you communicate. One of the things that agile promotes, teaches is visibility. It encourages us to have visibility across board. So everybody's aware of what the other person is doing, not because everybody wants to be nosy, but because you then know how the other person's job is impacting your job and what you need from the other person. So communication is important as well. Diversity. When I say diversity, I'm not talking about race. When I say diversity, it's more than gender, it's more about diversity of thoughts. What this means is when you're in a meeting, for example, whose opinion counts? Is it the highest paid person's opinion, even if that person is wrong? Is that what we go ahead and implement? Or do you allow your team and you harness the wisdom of the team? You look at different perspective and then you look at the common ground and merge those diverse thoughts. And that's what would help you as a team progress. A good example of this is the scandal with, is it Heineken or one of those organizations that was not in touch? They didn't have a diverse team. They created a campaign that was racially interpreted as bad. But my point here is if they had a diverse team, that team had someone from another ethnic background, say for example a black person was in those campaigns that the people, the black community were very angry with. If a black person was there during those decisions and during those campaigns before they went live, that person would have given their own perspective because they have a different worldview. And that's what diversity does for big organization. You'll be able to avoid such scandals. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another racial scandal. I'm not saying this because I'm black, but what I'm trying to say is if you have a diverse team that you encourage everybody to give their opinion and every opinion is valued, then all those kind of problems will be reduced. We work in an environment where we sell to a global market. So if you don't have a diverse team, you won't be able to speak to different cultures and understand the way to communicate to different cultures. So if you have just a very siloed team, then that's a problem. I'll just breeze through this quickly. I'm very conscious of time. And then the reward system. Another problem is reward system. We work as a team, but we get rewarded as individual. That's is something. This is not part of agile marketing per se, but it also affects agile marketing. It's more of a HR problem, but the reward structures, most companies are reverting away from it, but reward structure is that you bring a team together, but you reward them as individuals. So everybody say we're a team, but everybody is looking out for their own interest. So what I'm trying to say in summary is for you to be truly agile, you need to look at this three elements. You need to look at the strategy, you need to look at the people, and then you need to look at the process. Now I'm going to talk about recommendations. My recommendations to you will be focused on how you should structure your thought process when you're approaching agile marketing. The first thing is you need to clarify what agile marketing means. Earlier on, I said you have different definitions. Teams that I've worked on has a uniform definition. You need to make sure that everybody's idea and belief of what agile marketing is in cohesion, like everybody agrees. So there's no misconception about what agile means. What I would recommend is have that in your mind, people, process, and strategy. So you know if you're focusing too much on the process, you know that, okay, we're just doing processes. We're not really agile with our strategy. And if we have those two things, are we focused on our people? Are people happy? Are we developing internal skills? Do we have the right mindset? Do we have the right culture? Those three things you need to clarify what agile marketing means. The next thing you need to clarify is you need to ask yourself, why do you want to become agile? Is it because you hear that it's a new buzzword? Is it because IBM is doing it? IBM rolled out agile across their marketing function close to a year ago, and Spotify started agile from the ground, like the first when they were very very small before they became so big. Spotify is a truly agile organization. They started with Scrum, and they evolved and they kind of created something called the Spotify model. You can Google that. It's a model that is specific for Spotify. But the problem is a lot of organizations are now adopting that Spotify model in the context of their own organization, not understanding that Spotify is different and the culture and the way they work, their business model is different, and what works for them would not necessarily work for you. So you need to ask yourself, why do we want to become agile? Do I want to become agile as a person, as a team? What is the motivation? You need to be clear on that. Another recommendation that I like to give is you need to confirm your expectations from Agile. Do you want to improve teamwork? Do you want to improve collaboration? Do you want to improve your strategy? What exactly do you want to do with Agile marketing? Confirm what you want from it. And then this is something that I see a lot. Organization roll out Agile without giving specific thoughts to how it affects people within their team. As leaders, marketing directors, you need to ask yourself, how will agile marketing affect each member of your team specifically? This is applicable in B2B, B2C, small, single team, multiple team, global organization. Ask yourself that question, how will it affect each team? And then you ask yourself as well, what are the incentives? Frameworks like Scrum will tell you to have a product owner, a Scrum master. How does that affect people? What are their expectations? How does that affect their career progression? So this is another question that you can take away. I'm going to share the slide with everyone. I'll upload it on SlideShare, and if you want a link up to it, just send me an email. So you need to ask yourself the question: what incentive does agile marketing provide to each person on your team? And then this part is a bit tricky because agile marketing is something that is introduced to organization in different ways. Sometimes people bring in external consultants to train the team. Sometimes people send people out to get training. Some organization like IBM and Vodafone, they create internal agile marketing trainings, and so the staff can train themselves like on-demand videos. So depending on whatever method you're using, you still need to ask yourself the question, how am I going to get buy-in from everyone on the team? Will not get buy-in because the leader says we're going to implement agile, but seek their opinion, seek what framework they want to use. IBM is another example. There's a popular podcast that was released a few days ago where teams in IBM focuses on the team and they tell them to adopt whatever flavor of agile works for them. Teams that I've worked on, agile marketing gets his buy-in because we know as consultants that okay, this is an efficient way to work. So we know before
Yeah.
organizations even
Thank you very much,
before I work with an
Mr. Femi.
organization, most organizations I work with are already implementing agile marketing. So the expectation is already there, the buy-in is already there. Purposely put this at waterfall model. How many teams within your organization will retain the sequential way of working? I believe in agile processes and I also believe in waterfall. I know this is something awkward to say, but there's this belief that waterfall is bad. The waterfall is not bad. It's if you don't have the people element, the communication in the right way, then waterfall becomes a problem. So agile is not about, oh, we just have to move away from waterfall. Waterfall, in my experience, in my opinion, some campaigns you just have to do in a waterfall model. A good example is if you have a website redesign project. If you even SEO, for example, you just have to start with your keyword. There's things that you have to do in a sequential way. It's not all about agile. It's about what works for what we're trying to do. If it's Scrum, if it's Kanban, if it's waterfall, As long as there's cross-team collaboration and communication, everything works.
All right. Thank you very much.